Welcome. How is everybody doing?
Great.
Good.
Yeah.
Great.
Awesome.
Yes.
I've got a ton of events. Oh, sorry.
Is it showing up?
Yes, it'll just start soon. So.
Okay.
Can I start to add payment instead of just money?
Yeah.
Oh.
We're good. Can you just give me the thumbs up when it shows up out there? All right. Okay. All right, guys. Hi, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're so excited to have everybody here live for the Hangout. My name is Tiffany Aquino, and I am an alumni I was in Rwanda in 2012 and 13. And we are just thrilled to have applicants across the world today tuning in today to be with us to talk about becoming a GHC Fellow. So I just want to share for a moment the purpose of the call today. You have plenty of opportunities to get your frequently asked questions answered by Global Health Corps staff. And that is not necessarily just the purpose of this event, but the bigger purpose is to give you access to the fellows and to the alum who have been through the process and who have experienced not only applying but also being accepted and being fellows and the whole year. So we're just really excited to be with you today and to really build our community, and we're so thrilled that you are excited to be part of that community. So welcome. I also want to give a shout out. We do have live watching parties in several cities tonight as well. So hello to Chicago and to Washington, D.C. Hello to New York City. You're just in the other room, and I'll see you soon. And also hello to Kampala. You will be on, I believe, in a couple days to watch this as well. So we're thrilled to have, and Indiana, I believe. Sorry to leave you out. So we're thrilled to have you all coming to join us and meet with us. Thank you so much. So I'm just going to give everybody on this call a chance to introduce themselves. If you could just say your name, where you were placed, and what country you originated from. And I am from the United States. Again, I was in Rwanda with Partners in Health. So let's start with Asit. Asit, can you go ahead and jump in for me?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Asit Nanavati. I was based in Kampala, Uganda, working for Management Sciences for Health. Yeah.
Thank you. Estefania?
Hi, how are you? My name is Estefania Palomino. I'm originally from Colombia, and I am a fellow this year at Planned Parenthood Global in New York.
Thank you so much, Estefania. And Haley, if you could jump in for me next, that would be great.
Sure. My name is Haley. I am from the United States, and I was placed in Burundi at LifeNet International from 2012 to 2013.
Thank you. And Jen? Jen, you are on mute. Can you try again for me?
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'm Jennifer Gottesfeld. I was a fellow in 2011-2012 in Malawi with Baylor International Pediatric AIDS Initiative, and I'm currently the Senior U.S. Program Manager at Global Health Corps.
Thank you, Jen. And JJ, you are also on mute. There you go.
Hi everyone, I'm JJ Wong. I was a USA Fellow placed in Rwanda with Partners in Health.
Thank you, JJ. And Olivier?
Hi, my name is Olivier Dusabimana. I'm from Burundi. I'm a current Global Health Corps Fellow. I'm placed in Boston at Vecna Cares.
Great, thank you. And Tilinau, you're up next.
Hi, my name is Tilinau Tianga Tianga. I am from Malawi, and I am currently serving as a health fellow at Covenant House in Newark, New Jersey.
Wonderful, thank you. So we have a great lineup for you tonight, and we're excited to just jump right in. Remember that we are also following on Twitter. So if you have a burning question and you have something you really want to ask us, use the hashtag GHCFellows, and we will be monitoring that and answering those questions as we have time, both on Twitter and live if there's time at the end. We took the most popular questions that were asked to start with, so we're just going to dive right in with those. But first, I'd love if Jen could give us the GHC overview so that we can start with just the basic questions about the application process.
Yes. Thank you, everyone who is both with us tonight and watching this streaming later on. So like I said, I currently work for Global Health Corps at our New York headquarters office. And I'm excited to tell you a little bit more about the program. So first, our vision and our mission. I mean, what we're really trying to do is create a community of change makers who are all working towards health equity and share the belief that health is a human right. And so in alignment with that mission, the community that we're creating is our fellowship. So all of the fellows in each cohort are alums, our partner organizations, and then the greater community of people working in global health. So today, obviously, I'll be talking about the fellowship and the ins and outs of the application process. So first of all, what is the fellowship? It's a 1 year, actually it's 13 months, paid fellowship. And we have placements in the United States and in Eastern and Southern Africa. Specifically in the US, we're in the Northeast Corridor right now in New York, Washington, DC, and Boston. And we're also in East Africa, in Uganda, Rwanda, and Burundi, and in Southern Africa, in Zambia and Malawi. The way that the fellowship works is we partner with already existing organizations. We partner with huge multinational organizations like Clinton Health Access Initiative, Partners in Health, IntraHealth, the Inter-American Development Bank. We also partner with small grassroots organizations as well as public-private partnerships, foundations, and government entities like all of the ministries of health in the countries we work in, Boston Public Health Commission here in the United States. And when we partner with these organizations, we're looking for a couple of things. And the thing we're looking for most is that they align with our vision of advancing health equity. So after the vetting process and finding awesome places to partner with, we ask them, what do you need? Where are your gaps? And how can we help fill them with some awesome, highly qualified, ready to work and change the world people? And so they will develop a job description, 2 job descriptions, and I'll get back to why 2 in a second, based on what they need. And we have no agenda. We're not trying to get them to develop a job description based on what we want. We want to really fill the gaps that they have, as long as it's not clerical or administrative, but something that's high impact and that can really add value to the organization. So they'll come back to us with a wide variety of different types of positions, everything from what you'd expect for global health, so program management, monitoring, and evaluation, but also supply chain management and procurement and logistics, architecture, communications, fundraising, advocacy, and policy. The list goes on because the needs of global health aren't specific to just the programs, but they're incredibly diverse, and there are a lot of different skill sets that are needed. Operations, finance, accounting, you name it, we need it. And so they'll come to us, they'll give us those job descriptions, and we'll post them online. So if you've gotten a chance to look at our website, you will see the amazing 156 positions that are listed online. Those are developed specifically for Global Health Corps fellows to fill at these different organizations. So why 2? we have 2 fellows at every single organization that we work with. We have a national fellow, so someone from that country, and an international fellow, someone from outside of that country, who are working together in tandem at the organization. We believe that this is an incredible community building and collaboration tool, and that's something that we focus on a lot, is recognizing there's no need to reinvent the wheel. People have all these different amazing experiences. The more that we can bring people together to share those experiences and share their knowledge, the less recreation that needs to keep on happening over and over again. So at every organization, you will have someone that you're constantly working with, your co-fellow, to throw ideas off of, to collaborate with, to design programs with, or just to vent to and get coffee with. So what exactly does that look like? Right now, only U.S. citizens or permanent residents can apply for our international positions in our Africa placements. And U.S. citizens can apply to be the national fellow in the United States. For people who are from outside of one of our placement countries, you can apply as an international person to all of our positions in the United States that are slotted for our international fellows. And Estefania and Tilly and Olivier are great examples of those international fellows working here in the United States. If you're from one of our placement countries, you can apply as the national fellow to any of the placements within that country. Or you can also apply to come to the United States. So those are the different opportunities for different people around the world. So in addition, talking about the timeline in the application process, you've caught us at the perfect time because we're accepting applications for the 2015-2016 fellowship. And those close on February 3rd. And just a couple of things to make note of during this process is, first of all, we're looking for people who are 30 years old or younger. So if you're 30 right now, you could still apply. We're looking for people with bachelor's degrees, but you don't need anything beyond a bachelor's degree. While we do have a lot of people who have masters and PhDs and lots of other amazing graduate degrees, that isn't a requirement. And we're looking for people with a lot of different skills. You don't need to have worked internationally. You don't need to have worked in global health. What you need to have is passion, enthusiasm, excitement for the work that we're doing, excitement to try and make a difference within the organization that you're working for within the greater global health landscape, and are excited to be a part of this community of people who are all passionate about the same things. So I think I've covered the basics, and I will leave it to all the rest of these lovely people to answer all of your other questions.
Great, thank you so much, Jen. That's a wonderful overview, and hopefully gets us started on the right foot with the rest of our questions. So we're just going to jump right in with our frequently asked questions that are popular from our audience. So Asit, we're going to start with you. If you could tell us what was the most rewarding or best part of your fellowship experience.
Sure, thanks, Tiffany. I think I broke it down into 2 parts for me. First is personal, and the second is professional. The collaboration that GHC has with an organization, Skill Harbor, really allows you to grow as an individual, and it's a very important part of the fellowship. And that was kind of one of the key sticking points during my 13 months with GHC, was the fact that I was able to grow as an individual through a variety of workshops and programs that Still Harbor does throughout the fellowship, not just during the 2-week training, but throughout the entire year process. And second, professionally, I was able to really use the data working for Management Sciences for Health. We were determining service performance in all of the districts throughout Uganda, and
It looks like we lost Asit for a minute there, so we're going to jump to Haley to fill in the blanks, and we'll call him back. So Haley, if you want to jump in on that question. Oh no, I'm sorry, that was JJ. Talking to the wrong people here. So JJ, if you want to jump in on that, what was the most rewarding and best part of your fellowship year?
Sure. I would say there's so many parts that I think were extremely rewarding for me the whole year. But I think the time that really stood out in my mind is the 2 weeks of training in the beginning of our GHC fellowship. We had training at Yale for 2 weeks, and that's when we met everybody in our own classes and went through a lot of late nights of classes together and getting to know each other. The diversity of applicants were phenomenal in terms of different skill sets, different countries, and experiences, and I just loved getting to know everyone. For me, especially getting to know my fellow Rwandan fellows who I befriended and were very, very helpful in showing me around in Rwanda once I got to my placement site. And I'm really grateful for all my Rwandan friends out there who are possibly watching. I miss you all.
Thank you, JJ. I do have to say that JJ was the year before me in the same position, so I feel like we made friends as well from this, and I can agree that hello to all of our wonderful Rwandan friends. We just love you. So, Asit, we lost you for a minute there. Do you want to finish what you were saying?
Sure. I'm not sure where I left off. Sorry about that. But I guess I'll sum it up real quickly. That I broke it down. The two best parts of my fellowship were a personal impact and a professional impact. Personally, we have a partnership with Still Harbor that really allows you to grow as an individual and learn more about yourself. And it's not just something that we partner with during the 2-week training. It's something that is throughout the entire fellowship that really allows you to grow as an individual, and it's something that impacted me greatly. And secondly, professionally, I was able to use data. Working for Management Sciences for Health in Uganda, they collected a lot of data and service performance throughout the country, and I was able to use that data and create reports and create things that would be used throughout by key stakeholders. And we were able to go out to certain districts in the country, present these reports that we were creating, and show kind of how the data can translate into actionable results. And it was very interesting for me to be able to get that link between being behind the desk and doing the data work of it and going out and presenting it to the people that are going to be using it kind of on the front lines.
All right, thank you, Asa. I appreciate that. So the next question is, what has been the most or was the most challenging part of the fellowship? So I'm going to start with Estefania, and then I'm going to chime in a minute.
Okay, great. Thank you. And hi to all the people in Colombia that are watching that I invited. So I think the most challenging part for me is, and this is something that actually pertains to my organization in particular, is to learn how to work with people from many different backgrounds, professional and personal backgrounds around the world, and just to do it in a timely, efficient, high impact way, using Google Hangouts, WebEx, Skype, all the times you have to be connected. So that's something that was a little bit challenging for me to get used to that fast-paced kind of work. But it's definitely very rewarding to know that after this months down the fellowship, now I can work, me and my co-fellow can work very efficiently using those kinds of social media and other tools.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that input. I just wanted to add to that because I had a bit of a unique experience, and it's something that I'm asked on a regular basis about. So I felt like it was worth sharing. When I went on my fellowship year, it was, first of all, my first time in Africa. I had lived abroad, but never in Africa, and never for that length of time. And it was in a very rural context. But I also was married and was planning on staying married, and I still am married. Yay, we survived. But my husband didn't come with me on the fellowship. So it is a bit of a unique situation, but it's something that I hear over and over again from applicants and current fellows and other alum who experience this, where they feel like this is such an amazing opportunity that they don't want to pass it up, but they also have an amazing spouse or partner at home that they don't want to neglect at the same time. So I just want to share with you, for me that was a very big challenge for me, but it was something that I felt with full support and commitment on the part of GHC, both the community and fellows and co-fellows, but also the staff members to support me through that process of learning how to live in a really rural context without my husband, without my cat, without all of the things that I was used to. And it was definitely very hard, and it was an ongoing process that I had to learn kind of how to deal with. But I think that my message is just that it's not impossible, and there are plenty of fellows who go without their significant other because they feel so called to do what they're doing. And it is such an incredible opportunity to engage in important work that is changing the world. So just know that I went and I lasted the whole year, I survived it, and I thrived, and I don't regret a minute of it. It was absolutely worth it, and my husband and I are still very happily married, and he feels like I'm a stronger person for it, and I love him more for giving me the space and freedom to do what I needed to do for my career as well. So I just definitely, feel free to reach out to any of us who are fellows or alums who have gone without our partner. If you need support in that aspect, or you're thinking about applying, and I see a little me from Haley over there as well. So there's plenty of us out there. Okay. So on that note, I'm going to jump to the next question. So what top lessons have you learned or are you learning currently? So Tilla, now we'll jump to you for this.
Okay. I would say the biggest lesson that I've learned is the power of collaboration, how so much more can be done if you get to work with other people. I come from a work background where I'm assigned my share of work, and that's all I'm expected to do, and I'm supposed to handle it on my own. And this was a very new experience to have somebody else to collaborate with, and I would not have it any other way. I think it's fantastic that I have a co-fellow. I can't imagine doing any of the work that I've been doing for the past 6 months without him. Honestly, having a co-fellow is like having a superpower or something. It's like your secret weapon to get things done, and I think that's really fantastic. Also, on a bigger scale, just to collaborate with other fellows who are working at other organizations, it gives you the opportunity to network. Once I get home, that's something I'm looking forward to continue keeping in touch with the current fellows or the past fellows, to be able to collaborate on future projects. You have a ready-made network when you start up as a Global Health Corps fellow, and that's a fantastic thing.
Thank you so much. I love that. Having a co-fellow is like a superpower. I totally agree. That's wonderful. So, Haley, do you have anything you'd like to add to that? You're on mute. Unmute yourself first. Thanks.
Okay, yes. So my co-fellow and I came from really different backgrounds. I learned so much from him in that he came from this private sector marketing background, and he showed me how nonprofit communications can also be seen through a similar lens. You still want to effectively reach whatever audience you're talking to. He had amazing Photoshop skills, amazing design skills, and the partnership worked really beautifully because I was able to bring my writing and my content creation and match that up with his amazing visual perspective. And so to have that flow together was just so rewarding, and come out with this total package that was not something that either of us could have produced on our own. So super rewarding in that way.
Thank you. And Haley, can you also just chime in and tell us what you're doing now, since you're done with your fellowship, you're an alum now. Mm-hmm. what have you found to be the benefits of being an alum, and what are you currently doing?
So you can see in my lower third, I am currently at a website called Refinery 29, and I am associate editor of relationships and health. And so what that means is I'm covering a lot of women's reproductive rights and health. And moving from communications to journalism, I've found that a lot of the same skills are applicable. And my year of background with just this very visceral, hands-on, up close and personal experience with a lot of these structural issues that influence women's health statuses was just so incredibly invaluable. And over the past couple of months at Refinery, you know, we've been able to we've covered child marriages, we've covered menstrual health management, we've covered, you know, the impact of Ebola and thinking about women's access to health in different ways. So coming from this background of actually doing hands-on nonprofit work has been so incredibly invaluable to help me figure out what I want to cover next, how I want to cover it. Yeah, it really, really is the best preparation I could have imagined for journalism, even though I didn't know it at the time.
Awesome, thank you. And I'm going to jump to JJ. JJ, do you want to jump in and add any more about what it's like post-fellowship? So how connected are you to the GHC community, and anything else you found to be benefits of being an alum?
Sure. So as you know, Tiffany, she was Tiffany was the fellow after me, replacing me in Rwanda as an MME fellow with Partners in Health, and I had the pleasure of sort of handing off to her or give what I had learned in the field, and hopefully that was helpful. But we were also working together because I stayed on at Partners in Health for 2 more years in Rwanda, and I was able to, you know, work with and meet 2 cycles of GHC fellows that went through after me. So staying in touch with what the next 2 classes were up to was really easy for me in that respect. And now that I'm back in Boston, I still work for Partners in Health, and there is a huge Global Health Corps alumni community here still. So I get to see a lot of my good friends that I made from GHC every other week, and it's really easy to grab a coffee with them. And even for those who are still abroad or in different cities, I feel like GHC makes it really easy to find each other. Whether there's Facebook, there's, you know, we can contact our manager about herbs. It's really easy to stay connected with everyone. So it's definitely still a family after you graduate from GHC.
I'd love to jump in and say, you know, we survey our alums really regularly, and as an alum myself, I can attest to this. The thing that comes up most as the biggest value add is the community that they have, not only their cohort during that class, but also the alums and then the fellows that they get to meet once they become an alum is far and away often the most highly rated thing that fellows say that they've gotten out of the experience is this incredible community and wealth of knowledge that they can constantly be pulling from. It's a network professionally to get jobs, to share information and knowledge, and people really use that network and use it well. And it's just like JG said, it's a family.
Thank you so much, Jen. I'm going to have Asset jump in here too on that perspective as well, because he's a newly minted alum.
Yeah, as Jen said too.
How has it been for you?
It's been great. I mean, a key part of this fellowship is utilizing one another. We often heard it during our fellowship, once a fellow, always a fellow, and I kind of really now understand what that means, being an alumni. And being able to just bounce ideas off of people and really understand the avenues that there are to take in this field are really explored through and understood through the Alumni Association, and kind of being an active member and being an individual that wants to learn more. This network is kind of key, and without it I would feel feel lost actually in this field, and I really think that the network kind of brings you together and allows you to find your direction in this field.
Thank you so much. And I'm just going to add one more thing. I know we talked about this a lot, but it is just so critical to Global Health Corps and who we are. You know, I would say that this is the only group I've ever had the pleasure of being involved with where I have my best friends and the people who I feel are also colleagues who also challenge me both professionally and personally, and help me to strive to be the best version of myself. And I know that sounds intense and a lot, but it really is authentic because GHC really dedicates so much time to building you both professionally, but also the interior development that we focus on. And I just am so grateful for that, and I'm so grateful to have so many best friends amongst you. It's just always a thrill. I was just laughing because as soon as we went on live, I got all these text messages from friends across the world who are watching that are saying, "Oh, cute hair," and "I love seeing your face," and all these wonderful things. And it's just such a testament to who we are as a community that we will log in and watch an info session about something we've already done just to see our friends' faces and say hello to them. And that just means the world to me. It just touches me so much that, you know, we really do love each other. So in that, just know that within your application and within your intention for wanting to be a part of this community, that is at our core. And please do keep that in mind when you're reading about us and when you're applying, because it is absolutely critical. So we're going to go on. That's enough mushiness from me. I would love to jump into more in terms of applying to GHC. So I want to hear, oh yeah, Jen, did you have something else?
As we transition into these questions about applying to GHC, you know, you've heard from alums now what we're doing, what we've been doing since the fellowship, but I just want to point out specifically to the diversity of types of roles that here we have, I realize people didn't talk about what they were doing beforehand, but we have Estefania, who is a human rights lawyer, you know, from Colombia. We have Olivier, who works in technology and coding and is in computers and IT. And then we have Tilly, who comes from a counseling psychology background, you know, and has worked in psych. And so, like, the variety is just incredible. And so I just wanted to throw that in there as we go into the types of people we're looking for.
Thank you so much. I think that is absolutely critical. So, Estefania, can you speak to that a little bit more? Maybe start with your background a little bit, but also, what about people who are just out of undergrad or with limited work experience or maybe not global health experience? What do you feel like their chances of being accepted are?
Yes, well, I'm so happy to be able to answer this question because it comes up a lot, really. And the reality is that you have to have a call to be part of this movement. You have to understand it as a mission, and that will come across your application. And so the idea is, for example, somebody who doesn't have that much work experiences, or somebody who doesn't have the work experience in public health, global health, things that are specific to service delivery or to health services, might think, oh, maybe this isn't for me. But if you have the mission and if you believe that working for global health is for you and it's something that you're passionate about and comes across your application, I would say that that's something that you should definitely think about and you should definitely apply to Global Health Corps. In my case, I was before a human rights lawyer. I still consider myself as still being a human rights lawyer, but now I'm working from a different perspective, much more focused in reproductive rights and in women's and girls' rights. So I came from that background and I thought, well, I don't have enough experience in perhaps in public health or in global health. But when you look about the specific skill sets that are required by the different organizations, you can notice that there are, as Jan said, they're looking for people that have done something specific in IT. They are looking for people who have been, like myself, advocates and have worked with communities promoting and defending their human rights. So it definitely depends on the organization. So don't feel that you don't have what it takes. If you have you feel you have the call of global health in your heart, and you have worked and you have excelled in your profession, and you have, for example, done internships or volunteered during your bachelor's degree, you have experience with communities, all of that adds up to your application.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. That was so insightful. And it looks like Haley might want to add a minute to that.
Yeah, just to add on top of that, don't rule yourself out. When I was looking at the kinds of people who are applying to this fellowship and getting it, the instinct is very easily, oh my God, what am I doing applying? But just for the record, I was 21 when I moved to Burundi. I had just graduated months before with a degree in philosophy, of all things. But what I did have was this passion for creating content and for writing and developing messages. And it turns out that that translated really beautifully into communications and writing reports and writing proposals. So all I'm saying is, do not rule yourself out of this. Do not take yourself out of the running. College graduate, 21, moved to Burundi. It happens. It's totally an option. So yeah, I would say go for it.
That is the best thing we can say. Go for it. Don't hold yourself back. Olivier, I'm going to jump to you now. If you could share with us, if you want to share any more on that last question, we'd love it. But also if you could jump into experiences having applied multiple times before being accepted to the program. And if you can speak to having a chance to getting a fellowship if you've already been rejected in the past.
Well, yeah, thanks. For the first question, I just want to mention that GHC is pretty good at recruiting people with very diversified background, because I definitely think that the kind of issue that we work on requires really different skills, so as we can come with the results that we're expecting to get. So we need all different kind of people, and we also need all those people who are not even experienced. I have many friends, and actually even my roommate is just graduated experience. All you have to show is that you are really interested into that, and that is cool. Like as a software engineer, like I never thought that I had a place to do in global health or like in whatever I'm doing right now. But I think at this point I get a good chance to like work on the things that I love, like writing codes, but at the same time I get this chance of being able, like feeling that I'm part of this bigger community and that I'm doing something that really, really matters. We have a saying here that says, code something that matters. And yeah, I feel that I'm really coding something that matters, because when you see something that you wrote, like some bunch of codes, and then all of a sudden it's like helping some people somewhere, is fighting Ebola, that's a big deal. And I feel like it could have never happened if I were writing the same code to play like video games or something like that. So definitely GHC need a wide array of people with different skills, and definitely feel free to apply, and I'm sure you're gonna have a place for you. And about the second question about being rejected for the first time, I would say it's perfectly normal. Uh, I applied for the first time and I didn't get into it, and I applied the second time and I got into it. It doesn't hurt your chance of getting accepted at all. I, in my opinion, Jane can probably tell this.
Olivier, I'm going to cut off Olivier. He is losing reception here a little bit, so we're going to
I
cut him for a moment. If he can stop for me. Sorry, Olivier, we'll pick you back up when your internet recovers in a minute. But I'm going to have, if Jen wants to speak to that a little more, I think that Olivier was referring to you anyways on applying for a second time.
Yeah, totally. So unlike other places where the more you apply, the worse it is, we love people who apply a second time. It breaks our heart to not be able to take everyone, to be completely honest. Like, the applications we get are amazing and inspiring, and we wish that we had more positions so that we could take on more people. And eventually one day, hopefully we'll get there. In the meantime, though, if you apply a second time, or if you need to a third time, that shows us how excited you are about it and how much you want to be a part of this. It, if anything, shows us that every year you've continued to grow and learn and do interesting things, and that even after all of that, you still want to be a part of this. And so it's great if you apply again. If you have applied before and you haven't gotten in, please don't feel like that in any way would be a mark against you, because it definitely wouldn't be. Just a little bit on that and some other advice. I would say, I'm just going to throw that in now, some things to think about if you have applied before or if you haven't. Some application advice would be, make sure when you're applying, just to diversify your chances, you can apply to up to 3 positions. If you see 3 positions that look good, don't think that that will be bad either, like applying to 3. It's great. Apply to all 3. Take the chance to get any of them. The more you apply to, the more you increase your chances. So that, and also, if you've already finished writing your applications and you're sitting with them, just staring at them, afraid to press the submit button, go for it, because the earlier you apply, the longer we can sit with your application. And that we have it on our end. So just a couple of other things to throw in there about the application process.
Great, thank you, Jen. So we're going to jump in now to talk a little bit more about the structure of the program once you're in, and what it looks like. So I'm going to jump to Tillinau now. If you could tell us a little bit more about what it's like working with your co-fellow. I know we talked about this a little bit, but if you have anything else to add.
I could talk all day and all night about working with my co-fellow. My co-fellow is so much fun. He's fantastic. His name is Mateo Williamson, and I think that is one of the best things about the whole fellowship, the whole Global Health Corps Fellowship, is that I came to a different country. I don't know what it's like living here. I don't know how the system works. We drive on the other side of the road where I come from. Everything is different. And just the fact that I have Mateo working with me and we're able to do the same type of work. And if somebody needs to be driven to the hospital, which is very much a part of what we do, he would be the one to drive people, and it's just such a relief not to have to do that. Like I said, it really is like having a superpower. He's my secret weapon. It's so much fun to have somebody who, if I'm having a hard day, I can talk to. If we need to bounce ideas off each other, that can work too. If I have a lot on my plate, he can help me, and vice versa. It's the best part, if you ask me, about having a co-fellow.
Great, thank you so much. And Haley, do you have anything else you wanted to add? I know you spoke about your co-fellow a little bit before, but feel free to chime in if there's anything else. And you're on mute, so unmute yourself first.
All right, so here we go. So yeah, one of the things I've just valued so much about this fellowship is just this understanding that when you come into a new culture, there's going to be so many different layers to figure out, right? You're not just going in and doing the work that needs to be done. It doesn't work like that, right? You're in a community context, in a national context, and having a partner there who's going to help you decode some of that, it means all the difference in the world, right? Even just being in an office environment and what's the best way to interact with my boss? Should I go in person? Do I shake hands, send an email? It's these tiny little things that you don't think are going to matter, but they really do. And having someone there who's totally on my team, but also very immersed, he grew up in Burundi, and can help guide me through that, all of the intricacies of establishing relationships there, it means all the difference in the world. And you just don't get that with other programs. So one of the best parts of GHC for me, if not the best part.
Thank you, Haley. And JJ, we're going to jump to you. So what skills or experiences did you bring that you felt most valuable as a fellow?
I would say I would break down this question into two parts. There's the technical skills and then there's the soft skills. I would say working in monitoring evaluation, which is what my my fellowship was, I think I found it helpful to have worked with data before, in a research context. But given that, still I didn't know what I was going into. Once I landed in Rwanda, I realized there are a lot of gaps in the research skills, and especially around using technology and computers, and it was at a level that I was not used to working, and the environment needed a lot of infrastructure. So I think the soft skills that you really need is to be really patient and open-minded, to ask questions of the people around you, your colleagues in your context, and be willing to listen to what they want to learn and what they feel like they would like to know more about in your context, and help them with that. And I think so. I did my best in trying to teach some Excel skills and how to use Dropbox and these sort of technical aspects. But what I really enjoyed was just actually learning about people, my colleagues' families, and what their day-to-day is like, and how they saw themselves in this global health field and what they want to accomplish for their own country of Rwanda, and that really inspired me. So I think just go and listen and ask questions, and don't be afraid to be friends with your colleagues, and ask them what they would like from you, and then hopefully offer that with your skills.
Thank you so much, JJ. Just to chime in really quick, some of the best advice I've ever gotten is to pack your humility in your suitcase. And I think that is just so important to remember with anywhere you go to travel, but especially when you're going to another country. To remember that you don't know everything, and there's so much that you have to learn and offer. So please remember, humility is so important. So we're going to go into lightning round now. We have about 10 minutes left. I want to remind you that we are watching the Twitter account. I promise I'm actually looking at it. So if you have questions that we have not answered, now is your chance. Go on and use the hashtag GHC Fellows, and we will get to those questions if we can. But in the meantime, if we don't see any of these, we're going to keep going through, and I would just ask everybody, try to keep your next answers to a minute or less, if you can. Think you guys can do it? All right. So we're going to jump now to Jen really quickly. If you can tell us any recommendations you have about the application, specifically, a lot of people are asking about the essays. What does GHC look for, and how do you recommend choosing the positions which are best suited for the applicants?
Yeah, definitely. Those are great questions. I think a lot of people have already said this, and I'm going to echo it, that really it's your passion, it's your excitement about global health, your vision of what the global health landscape should be in terms of advancing health equity. Those types of things coming across in your essays are really important. We're looking for people who are not only really smart, awesome, go-getting, results-oriented people, but also people who are really passionate and invested and excited about not only working in the field, but also being a part of the global healthcare community and wanting to give back. So having those things come across in your essays is really important. Another thing is that when you're choosing the jobs, which I'll get to in just a second, don't copy and paste the essays 3 times for the 3 different positions, even if you're applying to 3 M&E jobs. That will basically disqualify you because it'll seem like you don't really care that much. So make sure you write specific essays for each one of the jobs that you're applying for. And to that note, how to apply for how to choose the specific positions. Look at what excites you. When you look at it and you go, man, that's talking about me. And be creative and think outside the box. Don't think like, oh, I haven't done X, Y, and Z. If you worked in communications and journalism at a newspaper and they're looking for someone who's doing communications, those are transferable skills, and like recognize that. And look for the things that you think that you can do. And even if you don't have a huge amount of experience in them, if you think that you can do them and those skills are talking about what you feel like you can do and you're excited about it, then apply for it.
Thank you, Jen. Olivier, tell us, how has it been adapting to a new culture? What about the food? What about the environment? What about your family relationships? And you're on mute, so make sure you take it off.
It's been interesting. This is my very first time to be outside Burundi, so everything was new. And I had to learn everything from scratch. I had to learn how to cook. I had to adapt to the winter. I'm still going through the process, by the way. Uh, I mean, I had just to learn about everything about the new life. But thankfully, I just to
Okay, and we're losing
have
again, so we're going to cut him. Sorry about that. We lost your signal again. Does anybody else want to chime into that that's been to a different culture? Maybe Haley, if you want to jump in on adapting to a new culture in the fellowship?
Yeah, I guess what I would say is I had done a fair amount of traveling, but the difference here is that you're really setting up a new life. And what that means is that you need to look for the same things that make you happy and healthy in the life that you left behind. So if that means a weekly Skype call with your family, if that means cooking for yourself. So, I sort of ran into the fellowship with so much adrenaline and energy. I thought that could just carry me throughout the whole year. But make sure that you take the habits that make you healthy and happy at home with you, whether that's journaling or talking to your family or cooking for yourself or exercising, and just sort of making sure that you are actually creating a sustainable life so that you have the energy you need to do your work. And that's super vital. So as long as you find those little things that keep you sane, then you can handle anything. That'd be my take on it.
Thank you, Haley. And Estefania, can you tell us, why did you want to become a GHC fellow? That's quite a big question. So let's see how you do in a minute or less with that one. And have your expectations been met so far?
Okay, that's going to be challenging, but I'm going to try to do it. So one of the things that encouraged me a lot was just to see, I remember vividly that in the webpage it said, we believe that health is a human right. Before that, I have heard so few people actually said that as, that's my belief, that's my mission. So I said, it's just something that encompasses everything I work for as a lawyer and everything I want to continue to work for. So definitely it was something that encouraged me to apply. And one of the things that I wanted to get out of this fellowship is just that I believe that In global health, we have global challenges, but we also have global solutions and global answers. So I wanted to go outside Colombia, go outside even the Latin American region, and search for those answers. And luckily, I've been able to talk to. Not only I'm working for an organization that's based in New York, I'm constantly working with people from Senegal, from Burkina Faso, from Uganda, Kenya. So it's so incredible to see how many solutions and strategies are being implemented around the world for the same challenges. So I am definitely happy with the things I've accomplished with this fellowship.
Thank you so much for that. And I just want to add, Olivier was cut off there, but I wanted to finish his sentence for him. He typed it to me. So he wanted to share that having a GHC community who supports you makes the transition to a new culture easy. So I think that's really a sweet thing to tie off his contribution with. So Asit, I want you to tell us, what do you wish you knew before you started the fellowship year, and what advice would you give to applicants or future fellows?
Sorry, I think my internet froze up a little there.
Did you hear the question?
No, could you repeat it?
Yeah, so tell us what advice you wish you knew that you'd want to give to future fellows.
Oh, sure. I think a big part of this fellowship is that every experience and every placement and every individual will have a very different experience. But knowing that and being able to reach out to someone within your country, within your placement, within the entire network, or an alum is an integral part of getting through whatever challenge you may have. Some placements you might have a nice office, some placements you might not have an office at all. And it's really just a roller coaster. And the way to get through that is to really utilize that was a very big part of my fellowship, and I think that's something that I really want the next class of fellows to know, is that there might be challenges, but you really need to utilize and open yourself up to the people that are doing it with you. There's going to be a solution to whatever problem you may have. It's just finding it.
Thank you so much. So last question, and then I'll give you guys a minute to chime in if you have anything else you want to say. But JJ, can you just tell us, give us a 30-second spiel of what, if you feel the work that you are doing as a fellow will be sustainable, if you felt that it was since you are an alum. And I think this is a great question to end on, but also a great question for you because you stayed on with your placement, so you got to see if that work was sustainable.
It's a really big question with little time. Sustainability, that's what we strive for at Partners in Health, and for us to train as much as we can and not sort of drop in and leave without anything left behind. So for me, in my work, I really tried to build information systems once I left, and I hope I achieved that, and that whether I was successful is up to my colleagues in Rwanda to say and judge. So we try our best, always thinking, sort of, even if it's not a tool, the sort of friendships you make, and that'll last a lifetime, and I think that's something that we should leverage as GHC fellows and alums too. Just you're never disconnected, and there's always someone to collaborate with, and that sustainability sustains once you finish. So yeah, that's it. 45 seconds.
That's great. Good job. So we are right on time. Last chance for any Twitter questions if anybody has any, but I'm just going to give 1 minute. If anybody on this call has any burning desire to share something that they haven't had an opportunity yet, that you just want the prospective applicants or future fellows to go away with. So we'll start with Jen.
Thanks. So I think what I really want to hit home here at the end is Global Health Corps isn't just sending our fellows out into the world to do work. If it wasn't obvious, it's a very supported program. It's supported both by the communities that you have, the actual other fellows and alums, but it's also very supported by Global Health Corps. Both in our programming, we have quarterly retreats, we have a professional development fund, we have an advisor program, we have an alumni mentor program. We have a lot of different types of support, but also in terms of security, which I know in the world these days is something that people are concerned about. And we are too. We obviously want all of our fellows to be safe and secure, and so that support extends through professional support, it extends through security support, and we have very intentional security measures in place, and mental and emotional support as well. We really try to think of every possible way to support our fellows so that they thrive during their year and then throughout the rest of their careers. And so that's a really important piece of this program.
And I hope that just this event is a testament to how well Global Health Corps does with that, that this many people would dedicate their evening to be on this call, but not only that, but all of the people across the world who are doing watching parties and watching online as well, that we are all so eager to dedicate time and effort to this organization, I think is the best testament we could give to the authenticity of what Jen is speaking about. So again, a huge shout out and applause to all of our wonderful hosts across the country that are hosting watching parties. I hope that you guys are having a blast. And just know that this is not the end of the Hangout, this is just the end of the actual online version, but you still have plenty of time if you are in person to talk to the people around you. If they're not in the room right now, some of us will be joining the Hangout parties if we're in your city, so please do stay tuned and hang out a little while longer, ask any additional questions that you have, and know that this isn't the end of the conversation tonight either. There's still time to apply, there's still time to ask questions if you have any. So we just want to say a big thank you to everybody, and I think we're good. Does anybody else have anything else they want to add? Anybody want to add a pretty hat or a show us your style? Today I feel like being a pirate, and Jen is a princess. You guys can unmute yourselves and say a nice, lovely goodbye. Oh, Asit, I love this side of you.
What can I say? I want to say hi to Mama B if she's watching. I miss you. Can't wait to see you soon.
Yeah, we can all say hi to our moms now. I'm sure they're watching.
I'll say hello to my fiance, my significant other, whom I've left behind for a year. That's another part of what's hard about being a Global Health Corps fellow. But I'll see you soon. I love you.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful time and good luck on your applications.
Well.
Ciao.